Record now, so everyone's aware we're recording. Great. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We're happy to have you here to go over the SpinifeX solution for easy migration and easy go live. Before we get started, just to kind of give a short way of introduction. So Vinod, could you just, I know it's just right now you and Gerhard on the line, but could you just quickly run around the room there on your side and let us know who's who in the zoo over there?
Yeah, sure, Chris. Thank you very much. So this is Vinod Pandey from EY, based out from Chicago location. Working on SAP for last 22 years, especially on SAP HR and SuccessFactors 20 years. Work on the multiple, global implementations across all the SAP model pretty much over the period. And right now I'm working in one of the S4 HR implementations in one of the largest cloud company. So that's it from my side, and happy to hear more about the solutions to understand the capabilities so that we can advise and guide to the client, and take it for the next level.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Gerhard.
Hey, good morning. This is Gerhard Neutil. I'm the manager at the EY SuccessFactors practice. My focus is on the payroll side, but I have 15 plus years experience in SAP, and I worked a little bit with Chris before, and also I used the SpinifexIT solution. It's just a while ago, but I'm looking forward to see what this product is going to offer now.
The good point. It's definitely changed a lot since our Roche days, Gerhard.
I can imagine, like everything else, right?
Definitely. Well, thank you very much. Doug, did you want to do a quick intro and do a little level set?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, this is Doug. Gerhard and Vinod, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Really, I guess, our goal today, we have this bad habit, we want to talk about ourselves a little bit, but just a couple of minutes, right? And just so you guys have an idea of kind of our overall product offering, just so you've heard the names before, really. That's all we really want to do. But we really want to focus on easy go live and easy migration products today. And, very, very exciting products. I guess if you're in the payroll world anyway, it's very, but I just kind of wanted to point out that when you think about these products and where they would apply in your practice, I think probably around kind of maybe 4 areas where they really kind of make sense, right? So if you're working on opportunities where you're bringing on a client that's net new to SAP or SuccessFactors, so coming from a Ceridian or something like that into the SAP world, there's applicability. So kind of think about those types of movements. Clearly, if you're working on a project that is an on-prem to cloud migration, very clearly that one fits into the wheelhouse really well. And then also on the S4 move side, so if you're working on an S4 project and they're moving to ECP, makes perfect sense for these products. And even the new kind of offering where I think they're calling it Private Cloud Edition, if it's kind of a copy job from on-prem to move that ECC into the cloud, there's applicability there as well. So as we go through the conversation around the go live and migration, I would just kind of bounce that discussion up against pursuits that you guys have done in those spaces. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure, Doug, yes.
Okay, all right, sweet. Okay, Chris, I'll pass it back to you.
Great, thank you, Doug. So today, Vinod and Gerhard, Paige Elkins is gonna walk us through the actual easy migration and easy go live overview and a demonstration of each. Please feel free to ask questions as we go along. We want this to be interactive and open, and don't hold everything to the end. If you see something that interests you, feel free to ask. We've got the right people on the phone today to answer those questions. And to that end, Paige, she's been around the block a long time. She's been in the SAP space since 1995, way back in the American Airlines days. She's done implementations and configuration changes and things like that. And done a lot of payroll and HRIS support. So she's really very well versed. And as some of you know, Gerhard knows, I'm a former payroll manager, so I have a lot of background in SAP payroll. So we're here to just answer all your questions today and hopefully have you walk away with a better understanding of how we can fit into your practice. Okay?
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Paige, go ahead. So real quick, just want to spend a couple minutes on who we are, just do a quick overview of SpinifeX and then get to the meat of the demonstration here. But just to remind everybody, we are an SAP certified innovative software solution company, and that's the key differentiator. We are a solution company. We're not a consulting company. So we offer software that helps businesses improve their day-to-day processes through a variety of ways. We'll cover off some of the use cases in a minute. But basically, we get in there and we help HR and payroll optimize their day-to-day business, improve the user productivity. As Gerhard knows, our solutions are end-user driven. They're not really specialized for IT, although IT can use them, but we really focus on the business end users who actually know what they need to get out of the environments. We work across both the on-premise and the cloud landscapes, or a hybrid of mix, as Doug mentioned, as for all of those different wonderful landscapes that we've got out there. And our goal is to actually increase your effectiveness as an organization and really get that solid ROI out of your SAP investment. Paige? We're located around the world. We have customers in about, I think, just over 45 countries now. We have 5 million plus users using SpinifexIT and thousands of installations. But our global office is in Melbourne, Australia, but we do have Spinifex offices around the globe. So we do offer 24/7 support for all of our customers. So again, really making sure our customer comes first at our organization. That's always been our pride. And we live by that in the first day, and we live by that today as well. Okay. Just a couple big names you might recognize of our clients. We actually very proud of our client base, not only just for the names that you see on the slides, but if you think about the industries that they're in, the locations where they are, the sizes of the organizations, we can cover the scope. We don't necessarily fit in one specific industry. We've got everybody covered. And that's kind of what we're really known for, is that we can work in any scenario, in any business instance. And just real quick, we're going to cover off a couple of business cases we solved with some of our other solutions, and we'll jump into migration. But you may have heard of our Easy Reporter solution, which is our flagship product, which most of our solutions are actually founded on. But we offer a comprehensive payroll reporting package that gets your payroll and HR users down to the detail, that real-time transactional data that's in your system, pulling out that information from your clusters, getting it in a format that actually is readable and usable, and you can analyze it and make business decisions. And then we also offer a document generation solution. We have an on-premise solution and a cloud solution called Strato, which is our offers full lifecycle document generation for your HCM employees. And it's really spiffy. If you guys got a need for that, I highly recommend checking that out. We offer data cloning, and you'll see a little bit of that in addition to the Easy Reporter in our Easy Migration solution. But again, being able to copy and test and scramble your data, all of that is very important in ongoing business, to be able to make sure your information is accurate and correct in the production environment. And then payroll inquiry resolution, we have a solution we call Easy Help Desk, which actually allows the end users in your shared service centers or your tier 1 level at payroll that get those calls from employees that they don't understand their paycheck. We give them a really quick and easy way and one-stop shopping to answer those questions. So we kind of cover the gamut and all the different business aspects in HR and payroll, from answering questions to the creation of documents to actually analyzing your payroll data with Payroll Control Center add-ons and things like that. But today, like I said, we're going to focus on migration and go live, which really is designed to de-risk your implementation and actually help speed along the process, giving you guys a leg up on competition and also giving you a better tool set to get the job done faster and easier. And with that, I am going to pause for 1 second and take a breath. Does anyone have any questions? I know you can go out to our website and see our solutions, but did anyone have anything else they wanted to ask or see before we get started?
Yeah, it was real quick. So thank you very much for providing the overview. So one thing, like generally, like old way, fashioned way, or maybe the digital, personal file type of information as a part of HR document, that is also getting generated with this solution, or no? Like, digital employee file, personal file, and having all the employee information.
Paige, can you answer that question? I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can you repeat the question?
It's a digital personal file for the employee. Those type, like you mentioned, HR document generation. So I just want to understand, like, what type of document is getting generated as.
Oh, for document generation, you mean for the lifecycle document generation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our Strato solution can actually generate all types of documents. You can do offer letters, you can do award letters, retro pay letters. I mean, there's a whole list of 50 plus documents that we've had customers create in the past. I can send you some information on it. You can take a look at it, Vinod, and then we can also set up a separate overview of that solution for you if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you answer my question. I'm good. Yeah, I'll go through. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, Paige, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I'm going to walk you all through both Easy Migration and Easy Go Live, and we're going to start with Easy Migration. So we're going to start here with just a little diagram, kind of illustrating, that the focus of Easy Migration is to move data from on-premise SAP to Employee Central Payroll. As part of that whole move to the cloud, the data that's going to be migrated kind of falls into two big areas. First one is your configuration, and this is really cool. The table entries, the schemas, the rules, the features, all of that we can migrate. And then the second piece is the employees themselves, their master data and their payroll history. So then after all that's in place, that's kind of like step one. Step two, inside of Easy Migration, you have reports, comparison reports that allow you to validate the accuracy of what you just moved. And that's kind of what we're going to be walking through today. And you're going to hear that same story quite a bit. Here we talk about those processes, moving the config, moving the employees, validating the reports. How long does it take to do those kinds of things without Easy Migration? And then if you have Easy Migration, and so you can see looking at this slide, we've really got it down to literally saving you possibly months in terms of your implementation time. Down here at the bottom, you can see 3 to 6 months down to about a week of effort. Okay, so what we've got here is just another sort of visual, illustrating where our tools fit in your typical implementation process. So you can kind of see running across the top here, starting with blueprinting, ending up with post go live, those high level steps that are typically involved. And then you can see where Easy Migration falls in there to provide some value. And just say a little bit more of a visual there to show you that as you move into the post-go-live phase, you've got our all of our solutions, SpinifeX solutions, to help you post-go-live, those things that Chris was mentioning in the business cases. And this next one takes it and just sort of drills into Easy Migration a little bit more. So here we are in our life cycle, and we're looking at where does Easy Migration fit in. So you can see here we have the configuration over here on the left. Get my thing working there. There we go. Configuration over here on the left, and moving the employee data. And then as we move across the life cycle, now we're looking at those validation reports. We're comparing, what did we do? We've got some tools there to help you analyze any issues that you find. All right, so I told you you're going to hear this a lot. So here we are. This is what we talk about with Easy Migration. It is that 3-step process. Copy the payroll configuration, copy the employees, and then validate what just happened. And that's what we're going to dig into. So we're going to start here with step number 1, copying the payroll configuration. So here's a few specifics about that process. It's handled on a per country basis. So as the end user using the tool, you would simply select the country code that you need to copy, and then the tool's going to execute accordingly. It basically reads the IMG for that country code. Picks up all the configuration that's relevant. As you're doing this, you have the ability to select the type of data that you want migrated, so you can really hone in on the details there. We have our default where it's going to say, here's what we're copying, but if you want to, deselect something and not include it in the copy, you can do so, as well as you can add in, like if there's a feature you need copied and it's not immediately picked up by the tool, you can manually add it in there. You can also, how do I want to say this, phase it out if you would like. If you want to say copy your table config is one step, validate that, and then go back and do the schemas and rules. You can do that. You wouldn't have to do everything at the same time. Then as you execute the migration tool, you're going to be prompted to save all the entries into a transport. So what that means is you can do this process once, like in your dev landscape, and then everything will be saved in the transport so that going forward, you can just move the transports across your landscape. Note here too is the fact that you can run the copy and test mode like, so that's really nice. You can go through there, select, deselect what you want included, hit the little test button. It'll show you what would have moved if you were running for real, the log at that point, make sure there wouldn't be any errors then before you decide to, you know, click off that test button and run it in production mode. So that was the first part, copying the configuration. And all of this, I'm going to show you a little bit in the system, what it looks like. We just kind of want to get an idea here as we go through the slides. Step 2, we're going to talk about copying the employee data. So you got your configuration over there now. So once you've gotten it over there and you've kind of checked it out, you've checked the errors, you know, the audit log for any kind of copy errors, you know, you've got good configuration over there, or at least you think you do. You want to move some test employees in, because the whole idea is get the configuration over there. Now add some employees so you can run payroll, because that's really going to be the proof whether you got the right configuration over there with payroll will run. So stage 2, we're going to copy the employee data. You use the RFC connection between your source and target systems. It allows you to copy over the master data as well as the payroll results that you would like. You have the ability to scramble sensitive data if you want. You don't have to, it's an option. So it kind of depends on what systems you're moving and what kind of security you need to have there, whether you want to, you know, do the scrambling. Something else I'll point out here too, it also uses your SAP security roles. So we kind of sit on top of that. If somebody doesn't have access to data and then it gets, you know, cloned over, they're not going to suddenly have access to it. We're still going to be reading your, you know, that particular user's access. So we sit right on top of your SAP security roles. Another thing about copying the employees, the historical data, both for master data and payroll results can be included. Now you have an option in terms of like how much history you want to move. If you want to move everything, one big bonus of that is you've now got everything like into ECP, you can report off of it there like it's been there all along. So you don't have to keep your old system going just for the, you know, historical reporting. Let's see, with the configuration, you have control over the types of data you bring over. We got the same thing going here with the employee data. Maybe you want to bring over all info types, all these PA master data info types, or maybe you just want to bring over a selection because there are some of those info types are probably going to be updated through the replication process. So maybe, you know, like pulling it out of Employee Central as part of this. So maybe you don't want to move, you know, all of the info types as part of this particular process. So you can pick and choose and move just exactly what you would like. So now that was step 1. Step 2, move the config, move the people. Well, after you do that, generally speaking, you would probably run payroll in your new ECP environment to see if things seem to be working right. So you want to be really careful on that. You want to be able to compare those results in ECP back to the similar payroll run in the old on-prem system. So with Easy Migration, you have the reporting segment that allows you to do that. And we're actually using our, you know, our flagship product, Easy Reporter, as our engine to provide that sort of support, those reports that you can utilize. They compare your ECP results back to the old system. They highlight the differences in a really nice way. They give you the ability to drill down to the details as well as see, you know, summary level. And I plan on showing you an example of that when we get over there. One thing that I do want to say about this comparison thing, you know, again, we're using the RFC so that all happens for you very automatically. It's not that old, take results from one system, take results from another, you know, throw them into an Access database and compare them or something. It's very, very seamless. The differences are highlighted as well, so that makes it nice in terms of, you know, right away seeing, do you have issues, do you not? And I'll show you that when we look at a report in the system. So I am going to move us into the system. I know that was a lot of fast talking, but I just want to make sure we get everything covered. So any questions while I'm moving over there?
Yeah, Paige, thank you very much. It's a very good overview. So one thing, like as part of the data or the configurations movement from source to target system, any type of transformations required, right, in between. So sometimes like the lift and shift does not work it out, because if you're investing a lot of money and then time to build a new environment, then we have to just reinvent the process. So as part of the transformations, it can also support, right?
Yes, absolutely. We have a menu path that you can go through where you can translate payroll areas, personal areas, wage types, and say, okay, it's coming in as this, but now I want to populate it as that. And what's really nice is when you populate that mapping screen to say these transformations need to take place, not only does your configuration follow that and do those translations, well, when you move the people, when you clone the employees, they're going to go through that as well. Their payroll results, their info type, if there's wage type setting on their info types, it's going to go through that same, because obviously everything needs to match, or it's going to totally blow up. So I say even the existing payroll history that you bring over, everything that you've asked to be translated is going to be translated. So I'm glad you asked that question. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah, but one more question real quick. So as you mentioned, like pulling the information from source and target, right, as part of the reconciliation process to understand like the differences between two results or two systems, you said you're going to use the RFC. So basically, where this is going to run on the source side or a target side?
You can actually do it either direction. Generally speaking, you're probably going to start it from, I think for most customers, they start it from the ECP side and pull. But the tool actually will allow you to pull or push. You just set up the RFC between, and you could, as long as you install our software, in both sides, you could log into either side and either push out or pull it in.
Okay. So
I would say, in my experience, the ones we've worked on, they started from ECP and did a pull, but so there's no reason why it can't go the other direction.
Sure. Thank you very much. And Gerard, feel free to chime in between or anything you want to just ask.
Yeah, this is good. It's just a few questions. So what you mentioned countries, by country. So I assume all countries that SAP supports are supported in your solution as well.
What we deliver it with, and I don't remember the number, but we deliver it with, gosh, I want to say like, I don't know, maybe 10 or so. And I could be totally off on that, but I know we deliver it where we've already run it and created the entries for some of the more popular countries. And then it's just a very simple step. If yours is not already included, one that you need, then we just do it. I mean, we cover it all. And we might need to do one extra little step if it's not part of our pre-delivered.
Okay, so you got a set of pre-delivered and data ones can be derived from.
Yeah, we can generate for any of them.
Okay. And then you mentioned, so you transfer employee history data. So does that include any pay statements, or was it just the result?
It's just the data, just the results.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no pay statements or anything.
No,
and that's also not part of that document solution, right? To get old pay statements out somewhere from the previous system.
You could install the documents, the document generator. We've got a couple different document generators, but you could utilize that as long as you kept your old system live. You could utilize that to pull it out of the old system.
Okay. And then one more question on that comparison tool. You mentioned that variants coming out, marketing red or whatever. Is there an option also to set some thresholds for those?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
Because we use all of our validation reports and parallel reportings all based on our Easy Reporter product. Very easy to maintain and put in different tolerances and such. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So what I've done is I've actually logged in and executed the tool for Easy Migration. It's just a transaction code. All of our software, once it's loaded in, you just use the transaction code to access it. So this is the Easy Migration screen. And just to show you, Here are some basic steps. They're represented by folders here on the left. The first one, I'm going to double click on this client builder underneath replicate configuration. This is the step to move your configuration. So it's really a very simple 5-step left to right process. You do things as you work through it. Like here's the copy type. We were talking about pushing it or pulling it. That's exactly what you're doing here. You're saying, oh, am I taking it from here and pushing it out, or am I pulling it in from the other system? So you have radio button choices to select that. The user then just goes to the next tab, which is, okay, I got to select the RFC connection. So there's a drop down for whatever's been configured for RFCs. You know, what am I connecting to? Options, do I want to overwrite? If it finds that that data already exists, do I overwrite? Here is where you populate your transport number. So it will, you know, either it's just your typical SAP stuff. Either you already have a transport or you create one right now, but populate it in here in the fields. And so everything that gets copied as part of this process goes in a transport that you can then, you know, use across the landscape. Selection, you're going to pick kind of a broad high level. What am I copying? Is it payroll? Is it time configuration? Is it PA, personal area, payroll area, personal management? You know, we've got a few different categories that then when you move over to tab number 4, these make sense. They kind of drive what's going to show up on tab number 4. So you go through here, you pick what you want, and then when you get over to tab number 4, this is where, oh, and you do pick your country there too as well. You get to tab number 4, you're going to really drill into exactly what you want to include. You have this one that says configuration to be copied. That's really table entries, table configuration. You have the ability to say, do I want to copy all of it, or do I want to just only include the client? In other words, it's really, you know, do we want just customer entries, or do we want SAP delivered as well? Because maybe your SAP delivered is already there. You don't want to, you know, copy it over again. But you have your choice which one you want to do. You can do this preview copy, which I'm not sure how quickly it will run. We'll give it a, yeah, oh, I didn't select a country. All right, well, I'm not going to go back. If I'd selected a country, then if I did the preview copy, it would actually go through and populate here on the screen all the tables it found by following the IMG, all the tables inside of each table, all the entries that would be included, along with the ability to check. There's a checkbox to say, oh, I don't want that one. So that's fine tuning what table entries you want to bring over. And we can come back and do that. I don't want to take extra time right now because I know we got a lot to cover. Schemas and rules. I want to copy the schemas and rules, put in a schema here, and what it will do is it will copy that schema and any sub-schemas and rules that fall underneath it. So, you know, if I know, well, I want, you know, /000, by telling it that, it's going to go find that schema, and then all the sub-schemas and rules that fall underneath that, all of that is going to be copied. The feature screen, we have a, oh, did I need to do a country? Maybe I'll go back and do that, just so we'll have it. Let's pick Canada. Okay, so there we go. Once you pick a country, now it's going to populate. So you can see these are the defaulted features that are going to be included. If I need to add additional ones, I can add them in here at the bottom. I can unselect if there's like a feature I don't want to have copied over. Schemas and rules, configuration. I'm going back up to the top now. Let's hit the little preview button on that since I picked a country. Yeah, there we go. So we can start drilling in here. And you'll start to see, looks like the IMG. And you start to see, you know, all the various entries down to, you know, the very tables. Here's some tables. If I want to bring that table or not. So, you know, by default, this little exclude box is not checked, but I could, you know, check it if I wanted to exclude it. So anyways, fine tune. So that allows you to do that advance, thinking of, what do we want to include, what do we not. So it's really tabs 1 through 4, setting it up. Where do I need to connect to? Am I pushing or pulling? What country? Am I doing tables, schemas, rules, features? I could do all of these at the same time. I think for the most part, most people come in here and do them like one at a time. Let's get our table entries, then let's get our schemas, kind of work through it. Tab number 5 is just to run it all. Run it in the foreground or run it in the background. The run options is where you're allowed to run it as a test mode. We mentioned that in the slides. And then there's audit log here. You will see there's an audit button down here at the bottom where you can see what happened, as well as there's a menu path up here where you can get to the audit log if you want to come back later and look at the audit log for what occurred. So that's really start to finish easy migration. So let me stop there. I know that was quick. Questions?
Yeah, sure. So Paige, very good. Means you explain it very well here. So one thing here, like from a different table, you can select, right? Like, and then within a table, if I have to filter it out, a certain, the configuration. Suppose the work schedule rule, right? So if I remove like the P508 table, only the selected work schedule rule, I have to move based on the requirement, payroll requirement. Then that can also be filtered, right, as part of the migration. So I can pick and
Right. And what's nice about easy migration too is sometimes we get into the weeds and we forget, oh, you know what, we can always do this. So it's like you run easy migration and maybe you find, oh, there's just one table that wasn't included. Well, that you could look at it as, okay, that's just that one table I need to go create a separate transfer for, or I'm going to go manually do it if, for whatever reason. So I find that we start to get into it and think, oh, okay, I need this other table. What do I need to do to get that in the tool? Which of course you can do, that you can go through our tables in the background and say, okay, now I need to include this particular table. Or you could just use it as a learning thing and go, oh, okay, we've got this one extra little, customer built Z table. Oh yeah, we need to make sure and add that. Well, we could just do that, create a separate transport and pull it in there. So it's kind of a tool to help you make those decisions too as well. I hope that kind of made sense.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, maybe if we have to create like the custom table configuration, then we have to first create the placeholder to a separate configuration, and then after that I can move the configurations from source to target, right? That you're referring.
Right.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I think we have from EY side, like Yogesh and Chirag, both from EY also, they joined. So I'm just looking for him. Yogesh, Chirag, and Gerard, yeah, feel free to ask if you have a. I know like we will have 1 hour of session, but yeah, if any clarification, feel free to ask.
Sure, Vinod. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Vinod. I'm listening. Sorry, I joined like 10 minutes late, but
yeah, no problem.
Well, I'll tell you what, I want to be mindful of time. Let's move over to Easy Go Live to make sure we cover that. And then if we have time at the end, we definitely can revisit. I just want to make sure we hit as much as we can. So Easy Go Live. So we have easy migration. Now let's talk about Easy Go Live, which you probably think, okay, what's the difference? What do they do and all that? So you're going to see some overlap. You're going to see a little bit of overlap between easy migration and easy go live, but there's also differences. And so hopefully I can kind of spell that out for you. We'll see. So I do have a slide in here that talks about the different features of the 2 products, easy migration, easy go live. So if you look at the list on the left, those are the key features of easy migration compared to easy go live, which is over on the right. So what I've done here is use some color coding to maybe help call out differences and similarities. One thing I did was up here where it says migrate configuration, and I put the blue box around that. That's only an easy migration. Easy Go Live assumes we're past that process. So it does not include the ability to move the configuration. That's what easy migration, a key piece of easy migration. Now, they both give you the ability to move employees. The employee cloning product is embedded into both of them, but a little bit of a difference in terms of any side of easy migration, you're only allowed to copy the employees to a test system. It won't allow a copy to production. So it's part of, you're implementing, you've copied your config. You need some test people so that you can test out your config, but it's not your move of your real, people into production. Easy Go Live gives you that ability. You can use it to move, to actually populate your production instance with your employee data. So it's kind of nice with easy migration. You can maybe sort of test out and figure out what you want to copy, or are there info types we don't want to include, how much payroll history do we want, kind of nail down how you want that copy to production to go. And then when you use Easy Go Live, you can actually do that population. You'll see the similarities here that I didn't put any color coding around, things like the parallel testing, the reporting, the comparison reports. There's a lot of crossover there, just that you're looking at a different landscape. Easy migration, you're probably still in test and quality systems. With Easy Go Live, you're in your production, and you've loaded people, and you've run perhaps that first payroll run in production, and you want to do a parallel comparison back to your other system, so you have that ability. Here, kind of spelled out here a little bit too on this slide. So you can see easy migration a little bit earlier in the process, and then we have Easy Go Live. And of course, we have our little banner across the bottom that we're there to support you from the very beginning to the end. We took a look before at easy migration in a little bit more detail. Here's Easy Go Live, spelled out for you in a little bit more detail. So the parallel run testing, that's the reporting that we talked about. This is something that we haven't seen and haven't talked about, the built-in rapid issue analysis and investigation tools. What are we talking about there? That is, back when Chris mentioned some of our business cases that we solved, she mentioned the product Easy Help Desk. This is actually leveraging Easy Help Desk. Easy Go Live gives you the ability to, like you've run your parallel, for example, and you're looking at people, and maybe you've got employees whose results are really, you don't know what happened with them. It's like, what in the world? Why do they look so different? You want to dig into that one employee. That's where this Easy Help Desk integration here into Easy Go Live helps you. You input that one employee number, and you get this nice dashboard that shows you everything about what occurred. Shows you, oh, they retroed 5 periods for this dollar amount. There was this wage type that went into arrears. They had, this master data change. It's just really, really nice, very well organized. It does, it's very intuitive. It does a lot of the thinking for you. It's just, Easy Help Desk on its own is really cool the way it does all that. And then say we've built it into Easy Go Live so that the people working what's gone on, working that whole implementation process can dig into the details. So that's something with Easy Go Live, not a part of Easy Migration. We do have the replicating employees, as we mentioned, that crosses over into both solutions. So here are key value points. What else do we have to mention here that we haven't already talked about? So we've talked about a lot of it. Let's see. As part of Easy Go Live, you can create export files, and this is something not part of Easy Migration. Easy Go Live, you can create export files of your SAP employee master data from your source that are suitable for uploading into Employee Central. So that's something you'll see in Easy Go Live, the ability, and that's up here in this top little button here, create data loads for Employee Central implementation. That's that whole, a lot of customers are going to use Info Porter, but if that doesn't work for them, if they're not on, perhaps the right level of SAP to be able to use that, or they just, don't want to, this is a really nice option. We have these files already set up for you that, in the right format that you can run. It'll export that data and create those files that can then be loaded into Employee Central. And I'll show you when we get in the system where that sits. So we have that. We have say a lot of these things that we already talked about, the cloning of the employees, using the reports to validate. So we'll take a look at all of that. Just a quick look before we go into the system itself. Our roadmap, their Easy Go Live is really first and foremost in our developers' minds right now. They are continuously coming up with things to do with it that, to enhance it. So this idea of, screen moved. Idea of better dashboard analysis, auditing what happened during the go live process, all of that they're working to build up into the tool. This ability, this in the middle here, to assign errors out to a user for investigation, that's kind of cool. Be able to, utilize the end users that are part of the team, part of the implementation team, and actually assign through this tool, assign them issues that they need to go look at. So you'll see it's gone through quite a lot of what I want to say, transformation from the time that Easy Go Live was first introduced. I've seen so many improvements, and it's just continuing to be a more robust tool. And you'll see that as we go into the future. They're definitely not going to stop. Okay, so now I'll take us in the system for that one. And if you have any questions while I'm doing that, let's get over there. I'm going to exit out of Easy Migration. And actually, we'll just do the transaction code instead of back at the menu. There we go. There's our transaction code, /n/spin/EGL. There we go. All right, so Easy Go Live. Here's what the menu for Easy Go Live looks like. Under implementation, these are those Employee Central data load extracts that I mentioned. I open that up, you see a whole list of, well, what are those? Well, those are actually Easy Reporter reports. Using our Easy Reporter tool, we have built these reports, and so when you run them, it's actually creating a file, a report that's really a file suitable for loading into Employee Central. Okay, so say our version of InfoPorter, I guess you would say. Then we have, let's look at these, we have the parallel run. Okay, this is really where I think I would say that for Easy Go Live, the end users spend the bulk of their time, because this is where you kick off those parallel comparisons. So you've got payroll results in both systems. You got payroll results in the new, payroll results in the old. You want to compare them. This is where you live and breathe. First, you set them up as scenarios, which is basically saying, giving it a name and, saying, oh, I want it to include these reports. And then you kick off your scenario. Later on, you can come back and compare scenario number 2 to scenario number 1, that kind of thing. That's all set up here, which I don't want to take the time to show you all the details, but you set them up here. I do want to point out that you have the ability to use Easy Go Live to look at, to pull in those prior, old system results from either an SAP system. So we can use RFC right here under these options. We use RFC to connect back to that on-prem payroll system. Or, and this is one I've been working on an implementation with the customer under this option, legacy file import, meaning they're not coming from SAP. They're going to Employee Central Payroll, but they're coming from, PeopleSoft or whoever it might be. Well, those old results can be imported in here just through a file format, and then those same comparisons made, those same parallel type reports run. Replicate employees. Oops, I didn't mean to click that one. This is our screen if you're executing the comparisons, but I did not really mean to click that. Right below that was the replicate employees. This works the same. Actually, I didn't show you this when we were in Easy Migration, but when you're in Easy Migration and you're going to copy employee information, it looks exactly the same when you're in Easy Go Live and you're going to copy over the employees. It's 5 tabs, just like when we copied configuration and it was a 5-tab process. Same thing for the employees. It's a really easy 5-tab process. It starts with a lot of those same questions. Am I pushing out or am I pulling the data in? Am I, what am I connecting to? What other system? Employee selection, because, what employees am I going to copy? So you can select them. You have options for how do I want the employee numbering to occur? Do I want it to them to keep their same employee numbers, or should they be different? This tab number 4, data to copy, is where you get into the specifics of exactly what do I want to copy. Maybe I want to go into the info types option. If I pick that, once I pick a country, so let's just say I were to pick a country, I will have the ability to designate which info types I do or do not want included. We have them set up in terms of a default. So you can see we've got several here defaulted to be copied. If I scroll down, you get the list that starts over. These are all the ones defaulted not to be included, but it's changeable. You have scrambling options here on this same tab 4. Do you want the data scrambled or not? You know, the sensitive data. So all that's part of how you're copying your employees over. Tab number 5, you run it, very similar to what you saw with the configuration copy. You can run in foreground, you can run in background, you get a log, you see what happened. All right, let's see. Let me make sure, I want to make sure and cover, because, oh, I know, I want to show you this. Make sure we have plenty of time here. The parallel reports, I want to give you an example of that. So this is an example out of, this one happens to be out of Easy Migration, an example of a parallel report that we did comparing the results from the old system to the new and the kind of reporting that you can see. So what I did here, I just ran it for 2 people. Here's the first one, 2017-0001. You can see by wage type, I'm pulling in hours, rate, and dollar amount. And then hours, rate, dollar amount, again, where it says RMT, that means the remote system, so the one I'm comparing it to. Then I have, we use what we call mapped fields, just part of our Easy Reporter functionality to compare and say, oh, did they match or not? And so you can see we have lots of matches, match, 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 match. And then I have a second person down here. If I scroll down. So here's my second employee. She's got a lot of mismatches. And all the mismatches are coded red. So whatever was wrong, the actual column where a difference was found, and then my error message itself, the word mismatch, all in red. And if I come down here, we can get, yeah, here's even a little more scattered look of what it could look like. And you can do a lot more. I mean, this is just one example of the kind of parallel reporting. I mean, you can do, you know, here I have, it's going down the page, you know, one employee has multiple rows. It doesn't have to be formatted that way. You can do different things. You can have them going across the page. You can have filters on the reports to only show you the mismatches. You know, you don't want to have to scroll past all the matches. This is just one example. So there's much you can do. You can have year-to-dates as well as current results. You can compare master data, not just payroll results. You can compare, you know, employee group to employee group or whatever values you want to compare. All using Easy Reporter as the engine, and it's very, very flexible. But I just thought I'd show you one example. Okay, so that is everything, I think. So let's see what questions we have.
I got a question. This is Yogesh. I mean, your tool looks, you know, very nice. So here on the RT result comparison, if on the ECC I have a wage type 2310, but on the ECP we are sending that to different wage type.
Yep.
Is this report consider that based on our replication configuration or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It absolutely can be done. You just use mapping in the report to do that. So very
yeah.
easy to do that.
Yeah, but this tool consider that factor also, right? If I'm running this report, okay.
Yes, yeah, absolutely not an issue there. I mean, we anticipate that's going to be a very common scenario, so for sure.
Yeah.
What else? Or Chris or Doug, anybody want to throw something else in there too?
Thank you, Paige. Doug, do you have anything you'd like to add? Or and of course, you know, as always, if there's any additional questions after you gentlemen go back and think about it, you know, you can reach out to us, reach out to me directly or Doug and or Paige too, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. We do have a few minutes left. If there's anything else you'd like to ask or cover.
Yeah, I did just have a couple comments. I want to kind of tie it back to my opening just to make sure we conveyed this properly, and it's it's a little bit confusing, but hopefully what you took away from this is that the way we designed Easy Go Live and Easy Migration is to mirror our view of kind of the client responsibilities and the and your responsibilities as their integrator, right? And that's really what we've done. But it doesn't preclude you as the integrator using Easy Go Live as a part of your project. And I know those lines move project by project and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to say that out loud so that you know why we did what we did. I guess is point one. Point two, hopefully you can see where an Easy Go Live has clear applicability in a on-prem migration, right, where we're reading from the two systems and comparing the data. Also wanted to make sure that's completely completely obvious that it doesn't have to be an on-prem system. It could be a file from Ceridian or anybody else, right, that's read into Easy Go Live. And in fact, Paige is working on a project right now for a grocery store company, like, I don't know, 120, 150,000 employees, where we're doing exactly that, right? It's a real use case for the clients because they're generally responsible for the final parallel testing, and managing the data is such a mess, and the tool is really, really helpful for the client to be able to do their work and to present to their management, right, the quality of the parallel testing and the results. So it's super easy for them to do that as well. So I wanted to make sure that was quite apparent. And likewise, Easy Go Live will have applicability in these this new private cloud edition, copying ECC to the cloud, because clients are going to want to ensure that, yeah, it was copied, but it's still running properly, right? So just wanted to hopefully drive home those points and make sure that where the products fit makes sense for the team.
Yeah, Chirag, yeah, quick question. Earlier as part of the demo, right? There are two things been displayed, talked about. One is about the info, about the reports, and the other one was about sourcing data from non-SAP systems, right? Question that I have is when you're generating files, I'll first talk about the success factors part of it, and then we'll move to the next part. The template format, right? Are those configurable, or those are kind of rigid or constant, and the file needs to be kind of updated manually?
No, definitely flexible. Definitely flexible. Yeah, because
Okay.
again, we're using our Easy Reporter solution, which is so easy to go in here, and you're talking about these templates.
Yeah.
Very, very, very flexible. You can make whatever adjustments that need to be made, for sure.
Okay, so you have kind of a variant, and then you can generate the file in that particular variant in terms of what column you want and what data format you want, things like that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's direct mapping, right? Like you can't have some again, I'm like, you can't have any piece of code in it, right? In terms of saying that do an if and else kind of thing. It will just be saying that pull this column in this format from SAP and then generate a file for success factors, right?
Actually, you can have transformations take place.
Okay.
You can go in here, and if you need to say, well, if it's employee group such and such, but we want it to be we want to transform it to something else, we use what we call mapping fields to do that. And so no ABAP involved, no programming, all just done through the configuration of the report.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for explaining that. The other question that I have is, can you explain a little bit of more on non-SAP payroll parallel, right? Where you talked about PeopleSoft and all the other systems, right? Can you just explain that part a little bit more?
Sure. So let's say, trying to think what I want to show you.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and this, like Doug said, this is exactly what I've been working on with a really large customer. Is so let's say you're coming from PeopleSoft or Ceridian or whatever, and you want to compare to the results you just ran in ECP. Let me pull up here. You will see there is a place where you can say data import options, and you tell it where the file is going to be. What you do is you load onto the app server the file that are the results from the old system, and you just point it there, and then it knows there's a import settings button that I'm showing you. You go in there and you tell it, oops, it can't do it because that doesn't exist, so I can't find it. But you go into that button and you just map column to column. It's like, oh, okay, the third column on the legacy file coming in, that's the wage type amount. So that's the same as this one coming out SAP. And it's just you just do this little mapping screen, which I didn't think to have one up here to show you live. And it's got to find the real file, and that real file is not existing any longer. But no, absolutely, and that's exactly, like I said, I can guarantee you it works because I have been living and breathing it since about the 1st of December.
No problem. And again, like this is the file that we have asked. Let's say it could be, let's say for an example, it could be like an ADP, right? We have to send them this file in terms of saying that just dump us the data for this particular pay period in this file format, and then you can use it as part of your payroll parallel testing, right? That's I'm assuming will be the approach.
Yeah. We just you're basically, I mean, depending on what exactly you want to compare. I will tell you on the one that I've been working on, we just needed 4 columns. We needed employee number, wage type code, tax authority if it was a tax, and then the dollar amount. That's all they wanted. But you could have more if you wanted to compare hours and numbers and master data pieces, whatever. But you just decide, what am I going to pull from the SAP side that I want to compare to? Here's what the file that you're pulling out of the source, out of the old system, what it needs to have. It just has to be a text tab delimited file. You load it into the app server, and then you configure here on the report to pull it in and use it in the comparison. Actually works very well. And I did think of something, the question about mapping, like if the wage types need to be different. I actually just yesterday, the customer I've been working on for this process, they just yesterday asked me, they said, okay, I've got a code, a wage type that is coming over from PeopleSoft as one code. It was actually garnishments. It's going to be code number, blah, blah, blah. But on the SAP side, we have them split out. So we need to, when we pull in the results from the SAP side, sum them up and then tell them to compare to that one code that's coming in on the legacy file. And that was the change I had to make to the reports. And it took me, I don't know, probably spent 15 minutes just going into their report and adding in that little mapping and testing it, making sure it looked right. So I mean, that kind of thing, the tools are just built to handle that very well. So I can tell you, first off, I just did it yesterday.
Okay.
I think a great point, Paige, and thanks, Chirag, for all the question. So I know we are top of the hour. I know some of them have to, leave the call as well. So I just want to thank you, Doug, Chris, and Paige for your time, and then providing all the insights of these tools. And then I agree with the point of view that there will be a different type of responsibilities from client, system integrator, and then the tool side, like your responsibility. And definitely as an integrator, we have to basically bridge the gap between the solution and the client expectations.
Yes.
So
okay. Yeah. And we're flexible with that, so that works. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think we can catch up later, but yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, Chris, you are going to send this presentation to us as well, right?
Yep.
Later.
I will. I will send you the recording and I will send you the slideshow. Just know that it will take a little bit to process that recording. But yeah, we'll get it over to you quickly, and then we'll set a meeting to follow up and discuss next steps.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for all your time, and thanks, Chirag, Gerard, and Yogesh for your time.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
thanks. Appreciate it.